President of Education. He was also the best Toastmaster of the Year 2019, and he loves cinema and books. And now, with you, the one and only Napula Alberto. Napula, the stage is yours.
Welcome, distinguished Toastmasters and honorable class. Welcome to Maputo Toastmasters for this is going to be one amazing meeting. Welcome to the so-known best club in Mars. It is a privilege to have you all here, and today it is a very special occasion for Mozambique and Maputo for two reasons. First, it is the last meeting of the year of Maputo. That's not something to be said about, it's something that means that throughout the year we were able to give amazing meetings, and this is one more to be remembered. The second, we have today visiting Mozambique for the first time, landing on our virtual stage, our international president, Mr. Richard Peck, to visit us, to whom I would like to send my greetings, along with all the district officers and club of district officers, area officers, and all DTMs in the room. Welcome to Maputo, welcome to Mozambique. Now start. The theme of our today is Koshukuri. This word, this strange word, is from a Northern language called the Makwa, from the north part of Mozambique, and it has a simple meaning. It means thank you. Now I chose this theme today because I think it's time for us to do a stop and check and thank for the things that we have got. It has been a very hard year to run about, and a lot of things happened. And in our hearts, uncertainty raised, and we were not able to see the future and what was coming. But we were able to stand still until now, today, that we are hosting not only the last meeting of Maputo Toastmasters, but also the last days of the years. And I think that's for that that we would like to say thank you. Now I invite everyone to grab a cup of water or a cup of this so we can propose a toast. And I would like to propose this toast for the great leadership that was held from our president, not only of the country, but also from this organization that held us through all this pandemic season. We didn't know if we were going to have our meetings, but look at us. We find new ways of connecting to each other, ways of reinventing ourselves and finding ourselves continuing with all the good work that we have been doing. And for that, I would like to say cheers. It's a toast. Now, let us get the show started. For those who don't know, let me explain you the program. It's very simple. It's divided in three ways. The structure of a Toastmasters meeting goes with first, we start from the prepared speeches. This is where we're going to have our speakers who meticulously prepare their project and can come to the stage to deliver them in formal speeches. And then we're going to have people that are going to be called upon to speak right on their feet. They're going to be given questions or sentences to finish, and they have only 30 seconds to speak. The last part is the evaluation session. That's where we get feedback, the breakfast of champions. But because this is a different meeting, there are two portions that we're going to add in. In between this segment of table topics, we're going to have a Q&A with our president, Mr. Richard Peck, and a cultural moment before we go to the feedback part. And now, let's go and start with this. Oh, one thing, the Sergeant at Arms didn't remember, but here in Toastmasters, when you see this happening, do not get scared. We're not going bananas. It's just the signal of virtual clapping, since we have a lot of those in Toastmasters. So join me, and every time we clap for one speaker that comes in stage or a transition. Starting off, the first part section of our meeting, prepared speeches. We're going to have our honorable guest to deliver the first speak of the day. Now, when I asked for the introduction, he told me that The year started with a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people were afraid of the things that were going to come in the end. But throughout his travels around this tour, the Toastmasters Club, he saw something that inspired him to come today and deliver a speech about. In his speech, we will get through this. Mr. Richard E. Peck wants to share the inspiration that he got from his travel around the Toastmasters clubs around the world. And he wants us to feel also what he felt traveling around. But before calling him to the stage, I would like to call Elio Macarawa, his evaluator, to state his objectives for the speech. Elio, Toastmasters Elio Macarawa, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests, and especially our distinguished Toastmasters, the president of Toastmasters International, Mr. Richard Peck. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing him, and he's doing Presentation Master Level 3 on his elective project. The purpose of his project to inspire is to learn how to write and deliver a speech that inspire his audience. He has between 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster Napalbar.
And now, with a huge virtual round of applause, please help me welcome to the stage Mr. Richard E. Peck. We will get through this. We will get through this, Richard E. Peck.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay? Excellent. I got the thumbs up, so thank you for that. By show of hands, how many of you would say that this has been a challenging year, to say the least? It's been difficult. When we turned the corner from 2019 to 2020, we all thought that the year was just going to grow and continue. And then March came along, and the world changed. It was tilted a little bit more on its axis. We had to start separating ourselves from each other. And I don't like to use the term social distancing. I prefer to say we're physically distancing. Because as you can tell from this call, we're all very social. So it's physical distancing. But we had to start looking at the challenges a little differently. Now, here's how I look at challenges, and I encourage you to look at them the same way. Just like there's two sides to every coin, for every challenge, there's multiple opportunities. You just have to flip the script and look at it a little differently. So let's talk about the first challenge that occurred. We had to physically distance ourselves from each other. Well, we're all used to being in a club environment, giving handshakes, hugs, high fives. Don't high five your laptop. I've had to replace my monitor 3 or 4 times already. It just doesn't work out so well. But we're used to that. And now we had to find a new way to do something. The challenge is, how do we meet? The opportunity was go online. And we've found platforms that have allowed us to be able to connect with one another. In a time when we've required to be so far apart, we need to be so close together. In the Zoom platform, or whichever platform is being used by any country, has allowed us to do that. Then we got to convention. What are we going to do for convention this year? We can't get together. So we put it online and we made it free. And where we would normally get between 2,000 and 3,000 individuals to show up, we had over 16,000 register for the convention. 5 times more people than we would normally have there. Challenge, how do we hold a convention? Opportunity, put it online. When I took the office of president, the challenge would be how to connect with our members, how to understand what they're going through, how to meet their needs. And thus, the world tour started. Something that has never been done by any president before. 145 clubs in 145 countries, giving pathway speeches, being a general evaluator, table topics, whatever the case may be. Challenge, how do I connect? Opportunity, travel the world from behind my computer screen. Now, it's not as much fun as if I would be in Mozambique and experience the culture and the dancing, the music, and the costume. As I'm looking at Emildina in the corner of my screen, just seeing that allows me to take in a little bit more of your country. But here's what else has happened. Here's where the inspiration, the encouragement, the positivity from our members have shown. You're all smiling, you're all engaged, and you're getting individuals from around the world to visit your club, to experience your culture, to learn a little bit more about you. If it weren't for COVID-19 and the pandemic, this would have never happened. Individuals would not have gotten a chance to visit you. I've been able to travel from the United States to Namibia, to Brussels, to Tokyo, and back, all in a single day. No jet lag, no passport, and no money out of pocket. Although I do miss getting the stamps in my passport that say I visited a country. The world is getting smaller because of us. Not physically, we can't shrink the size of the world, obviously, but we're connecting around the world to one another. We're inspiring others to learn more about us. I've always believed that the more we know about each other, the more we understand each other, the more we'll get along. Doesn't mean we're going to agree with each other all the time, but at least we'll know why. At least we'll get a chance to spend some time in the culture and learn about people. As I've traveled the world, I've seen all of our members experiencing meetings that are as fun, if not more fun, than they've been having in the past. Because now they're in their home, they're a little bit more relaxed. They're wearing Santa Claus hats at Christmas time. They're having music that, how would I have heard the music of Mozambique if I wasn't at this meeting? Countries are sharing words and giving a little bit of lessons on their countries. The challenge of the pandemic has opened up the opportunities for us to connect and come together as a tighter community. You've already proven that you've got this. And we will get through this together, and we'll get through this wiser and stronger. I encourage you to continue to reach out to others, to meet them, to let them learn about you as you learn about them. Mr. Toastmaster.
Please join me in a virtual round of applause for this amazing speech. The more we learn about each other, the more we understand each other. Thank you, Mr. Richard Peck, for such a valuable lesson. Now, let's move on the second speaker of the night. I would like to call these amazing people that are going to be helping me in running this meeting. There are people that stay in the back and take a few notes and come to report at the end. And I would like to start with the grammarian of the day, and that is Manuel Joffris. Manuel, Toastmaster Manuel Joffris, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Napola. Good evening, everyone. Well, as a Ghanaian, my role is to look at the usage of the language. I have already shared with you the word of the day, which is today. Today is a verb, and it means to have a sufficient courage. It means also to challenge, to perform an action special as a proof of courage. I do have some examples. Failures are made only by those who fail to dare, not by those who dare to fail, lesser person. The second example, dare to dream, but even more importantly, dare to put more action behind your dream. Josh Hint. So these are the two examples of the usage of the word of the day, which is there. I hope that you're going to make use of it, and I'm going to listen to you carefully. Remember that I'm going to pay attention to the usage of the language, special the word of the day. Thank you. Back to you, Napola.
Thank you very much, Manuel Jufristo, with the word of the day there. If anything, dare to live. Now, our next role player is our A counter. And our A counter comes from FNB Inspire, a club that has recently opened in Mozambique. Antonio Santos, please come to the stage and explain your role.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role as a counter is to note words and sounds that are used as scratch words or pause fillers by anyone who speaks during this meeting. I will listen for overused words like but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including um, and At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Antonio Santos, with the explanation of the A counter role. And to close off, there's someone who's looking at the usage of time for today's meeting, and he is none but less but the president of Timbila Toastmasters, the most recent born club in Mozambique, the only and the first Portuguese club, Toastmasters club in Mozambique. Dungu Nuvunga, please come to the stage and explain your role.
Thank you, Napula. Greetings, everyone. My name is Dungu Nuvunga, and I'll be the timer for today's event. And as the timer, I will time each section of today's meeting, starting for the prepared speeches section, table topics, and evaluation. And I will use the background to show the colors: green, yellow, and red. As an example, prepared speeches in general, they're 5 to 7 minutes. When the speaker reaches the 5 minute, my background will change from my face from green. When the speaker reaches the 6 minute, my background will change to yellow. And when the speaker reaches the 7 minute, my background will change to red. And the speaker has still 30 seconds to finish the presentation. Thank you. Back to you, Napula.
Thank you very much, Dungu Duwa, with such an explanation, such a thorough explanation of what the timer role is. Now, guests and fellow members, we already know we have to watch our language, we have to watch our crutch words, and also the time we spend while we're on the stage. Now, ready to rumble? Let's move on to the next speaker for the prepared speeches section. And this is Daisy Manisa. Now, Daisy Manisa is a former VPE slash president of Maputo Toastmasters. This year, she earned the division championship, being the first female Mozambican to earn that title on the division speech contest. She is also proud of being Mozambican because of the rich culture that we have, the food, the people, and of course, the landscape. Today, she's going to deliver a speech in regards to happiness. But before she come on the stage, I would like to invite Agnalu Nyampunda from FNB Inspire to, to tell us about the objectives of her speech. Toastmasters Agnalu, the stage is yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. And today we'll be evaluating Daisy Manisa on her project, Innovative Planning, Researching, and Presenting. The purpose of her speech today is to research and present an family topic, organize the speech clearly to maximize audience understanding. She has 5 to 7 minutes to deliver her speech, and then back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Please help me and welcome to the stage Daisy Manisa. Joy is the ultimate success. Joy is the ultimate success. Daisy Manisa.
Fellow Toastmasters, Toastmasters International President, and honorable guests, joy is the ultimate success. Over the past few days and months, specifically the year 2020, I've been having some really profound conversations with some of my coworkers, with some of my friends, specifically my family members and myself. And it's safe to say that the year 2020 has required a lot of us to stop, analyze, reflect, in order for us to break down and dismantle so that we could regroup and redefine who we are and who we would like to be moving forward. And as I grow up and learn, I realize in order for us to rebuild and to adapt into the circumstances that life throws our way, then sometimes we need to allow ourselves to be broken down a little. We need to allow ourselves to live in a space of vulnerability where we truly are uncertain of what is to come, where we are, and that really causes chaos within the human mind. It really does. Because living in a space like this, in a moment like this, where you're so uncertain of what is to come, it really makes you question everything. It makes you question who you are, who you've been, who you're building yourself up to be. It can make you question your values, your morals, your belief systems, and your integrity. I won't lie to you. This has been a year where I have also had to stop, analyze, reflect in order for me to regroup and redefine myself and who I desire to become moving forward. It's been a year of pondering and trying to understand what are my deep-rooted traumas and how could I do better. And for many years, I have always looked at the word success based on the definition that society looks at success. And it's really unfortunate because it puts a lot of pressure on being a simple human being, right? And I've always looked at success like the definition that you can find in the dictionary.com, where it states that success is basically the attainment of your individual goals, right? It means that you attain and you achieve position, becoming honorable. And if this is what success entails, then that means that success is it's based on what you can achieve externally and not what is intrinsic. It's not internal, it's merely external. And honestly, this is what made me question the viability of the definition of success. Believe me, I'm not anti-success. I believe success is necessary in life, right? We all need to achieve and try to attain something. We all need goals and objectives. But if your mere happiness relies on what you can and cannot achieve, then there is a huge and deep problem with that because it's only temporary. When I stop and I analyze what success has meant to me so far, it always relied on who I could become, what I've been able to achieve, who I desire to become as an individual, as a professional, as a woman. And although those things are great, it's not everything. And that is why I have questioned and have dismantled and tried to understand the meaning of success. My experience in life can no longer rely on external validation. My success in life can no longer rely on external validation because that is weak, that is frail, and that is temporary. So when I look at the definition of success and I look at happiness, happiness is just as frail and as weak and as temporary as success. And because I am a pretty relentless person and I love to go after what I want, and I'm very determined in being a successful person because I want to, but I want to experience success in a more profound way. And the way that I've been learning to do that is looking at the word joy. There's this beautiful article that was written by the Sad Guru, the platform Medium, where it says, when you're fundamentally joyous and you don't have to do anything to be happy, all of the dimensions in life change. How you experience the world changes, how you express yourself to the world changes, the contents of life changes. Because you no longer rely on external factors in order for you to feel successful and validated. You no longer care if you achieve and don't achieve something. You no longer care if you attain or don't attain something. You will continue to be joyous because of your mere existence, of your mere nature of who you are. And that is so much more sustainable than you relying on external attributes, external factors, external validation. That is such a beautiful place to stand in. The Merriam-Webster dictionary actually defines joy as the emotion invoked by feelings of well-being, success, prosperity. And honestly, when I look at the word joy, I say, yeah, that's where I want to be. Okay, that's what I want to achieve because I want to be continuously successful. I want my success to be fundamental. I want it to have base. I want it to have foundation. And I don't want it to be merely dependent on my state in life and my circumstances in life. The year 2020 has been a year of challenges, but it also has been a year of magic because it has made us deal with many of our traumas, our fears. It has made us look directly into the camera, like I'm looking at myself right now, okay, or in the mirror, in order to question who I have always been and really start building who I want to become. And who I want to become is somebody that does not rely on external validation for happiness, but a person who is joyous, and therefore I am successful. Thank you.
Find success through within. Thank you, Daisy Manisa, for such an amazing speech. Now, let's move on for the last speaker of the day. Now, this one is it's a case yet to be cracked. From his younger age, he found himself on the bed of a hospital in India for a surgery with nothing but a think and grow rich book to read. And from that moment, his passion for financial, personal finances started because he had in his mind that people should be taught and should speak freely about money. That led him to being the author of the book Money That Grew in Trees and also Vanito and His Magic Tree. Today, he's a personal finance coach and also a proud Well, not only this club, but the clubs around the world. Yes, I'm talking about the one and only Domingos Novella, who is going to meet us with one more speech today. But before having him on stage, I would like to call Ms. Beatrice to deliver us with his objectives for the speech today. Toastmasters Beatrice, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. To the International President for Toastmasters, Mr. Richard E. Peck, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests joining us tonight from all over the world. I am delighted to be evaluating one of the most proficient speakers in Maputo Toastmasters. He has started a new pathway, engaging humor, and tonight he is delivering a speech from Level 1, Project 2, which is evaluation and feedback. The purpose of his speech tonight is to deliver a speech in any style, to receive feedback from his evaluator, which is me, and to incorporate that feedback in his next speech. He has 5 to 7 minutes to deliver his speech tonight. And to introduce our third speaker, I hand over back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Now, with a huge virtual round of applause, please help me welcome to the stage Toastmaster Domingos Novella, Just Brief, Domingos Novella.
Do you think you have what it takes in this life in order for you to achieve success? I'm talking about MTV Cribs mansion, yachts, Bugatti, or all sorts of things that you consider having success. Do you have it? I know it's a bit tricky question. However, I created a simple and easy way in order for you to know if you have it or not. Just follow my lead for a second. Breathe in. Now breathe out. Do it again. Inhale, breathe in, and now exhale. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were able to do this simple exercise, it means that you can breathe. Therefore, you have it all. If you have some doubts about my method, just go to the nearest cemetery, ask the people that are lying there to do this small exercise. If you get an answer, I recommend you to run away. Now, you might be wondering, how did I come to this conclusion? Well, Toastmaster International President, ladies and gentlemen. It was a Friday evening. I went to this amazing party. My friends were there. We had music, beer. I was single and I was ready to mingle. There I met this gorgeous girl and I managed to convince her to come home with me. That night we slept together. Whoa, not that kind of sleeping, you sick perv. No, we were both drunk and she looked a little bit different without makeup. The middle of the night, I woke up with no air. I just couldn't breathe. And my first thought was, the lady's choking me. But she was just standing there with panic in his face. And me, I couldn't breathe. I was trying so hard. You know, I never been dead, but I can tell you that what I was feeling is what people feel just when they're about to die. However, I reached to my inner strength and I managed to take this deep breath. I was breathing again. I went back to sleep like a baby. She didn't sleep all night long. A couple of days later, same thing happened. Woke up, couldn't breathe, but then I managed to breathe. Went to sleep. And again, same thing. I started getting a little bit worried. I decided to go to a doctor, a cheap one. You know that one, Dr. Google. I got my diagnosis after researching for 5 long minutes. I discovered that I have this disease called sleep apnea. Now let me explain to you how does it work with me. When I go to sleep at night, my brain acts like a Mozambican worker. That means that when the boss is not around, when the boss is sleeping, my brain goes out to party. And he parties so hard that he forgets to tell my lungs to breathe. And just like a Mozambican worker, when I'm running out of air, he notices, oh, we have a problem. He wakes me up and he says, boss, I think we have a tiny problem, but I had nothing to do with it. And me, without air, I'm like, what's happening? And then he says, boss, I think you are dying. However, one day, after one of these episodes, I couldn't go back to sleep. So I started thinking a little bit about breathing. And I realized that we take breathing as granted. However, since I have this small problem, every day I go to bed, I don't know if I will make it on the next day. This means that if I do not breathe, I will not be able to reach my goals to get what I want from this life. This means that it doesn't really matter if you are rich, if you are poor, if you are talented, tall, beautiful, smart, the fastest. That doesn't matter if you cannot breathe. That means that all of those traits combined, they mean nothing. You don't actually need that. The thing that will really make a difference is your ability to breathe. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that everyone that breathes will have success. Just look at Napola, for example. But what I'm saying is that if you are able to breathe, you are still in the game. You have an endless line of possibilities. You can do whatever you want and you can. So next time you see yourself stuck, you see yourself in a situation where it seems like all the problems of the world are lying on your shoulders. You start recalling of all the facts that prove that you are not enough. You start recalling every time someone told you that you are not enough. You recall the times that you told yourself that you are not enough. Just pause for a second and do the exercise. Inhale, exhale. If you are able to do it, this means that you can breathe. You are in the game. It's not over until you win. So let me ask you again, ladies and gentlemen, do you think you have what it takes in order to succeed in this life? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much for such a lesson. Not everyone that breathes will reach our success. And that's why we encourage you to keep trying, Domingos. Amazing. Now, Mr. Zoommaster, please help me in unmuting everyone so we can give a round of applause for every speaker that was here on the stage today.
Yes.
Amazing.
We say Ushukuru, which is thank you in Amapua. Thank you for taking your time in participating, preparing, and taking the courage of delivering your speech. Those who are Toastmasters know that a lot of butterflies grow in your stomach and your hands start sweating and your heart rate starts pumping. But if you are a guest of Toastmasters and they're here for this time, just take it easy. We have this for breakfast like every day, and you may want to join to see how it's done. Now to move on, as I told you, it's go for three sections. We're going for the second, and I would like to invite for everyone that's in the meeting to use the group chat to put your questions to our president, international president, Mr. Richard Peck, because our Maputo Toastmasters President Lady Tenan is going to be running the next section, which is going to be a quick Q&A so we can learn about Mr. Richard E. Peck. Now, before, let me hand over the meeting to what the current president of Maputo Toastmasters. She was the former VPPR of Maputo Toastmasters and took the world by a storm with the flyers and all the PR that she did. That granted her the title of president because everyone was so in love with the work and dedication that she gives to Toastmasters, and she also gives in life, where she is a gym lover, a mother, and also a passionate for both in everyone. Lady Tsunani, the president of Maputo Toastmasters, please, stage is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster Napula, International President of Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and distinct guests. This is now the opportunity that we have to ask that question to the International President of Toastmasters. If you have a question, please go to the chat box and send a question to ask a question, and I will be transmitting your question to Mr. President here. Now, let's kick off by giving the first one. Mr. Richard Peck, what do you feel that is the biggest strength of our organization right now?
Oh, well, thank you for that question. And please call me Richard. That would be my preferred way of being addressed. Have found new ways to reach out around the world. We have found new ways to stay in touch with each other. We've developed a strong sense of community that I think we didn't necessarily have before, a global community, if you will. We have communities within our clubs, within our districts, but now we're starting to develop that global community. And that, to me, is our greatest strength right at the moment. The more we can lean on each other, the more we can support one another, the stronger we'll be.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, I would like to know from you as well, how did the need for public speaking started, and how did you get in the position that you are today?
That's an interesting question. So I had no interest in public speaking to start with. That was not anywhere on my agenda. And I met Les Brown. Now, some of you may be familiar with who Les Brown is. He's a past Golden Gavel recipient for Toastmaster. He's also a world-renowned motivational speaker. I met him at an event and had a conversation with him. He had asked me if I had ever thought about public speaking, and no, not at all. As most of you, that is a fear, right? We don't want to speak in public. We don't want to deal with that. I could speak to other engineers, but I couldn't speak in public. I called him up and asked him what he would recommend for somebody who was thinking of getting in public speaking. And he said, find a Toastmasters club. I found one not too far from my home and joined on the first meeting and have been there ever since. That was 2006. What got me to where I am today is a belief in myself first, taking that time to just sit back and breathe, as we just heard, but also realizing that I had more to offer our members and the drive to be able to help. And just like all of you have drive to support and encourage others, that's what I've got. And that's what's allowed me to continue to pursue my leadership journey.
Thank you. We have another question from the audience. It says, what is the one thing that you want to achieve as a president?
That's an interesting question. What is the one thing I want to achieve as a president? I think the one thing that I would like to achieve as president is for our members to truly get the sense that regardless of who we are as leaders within the organization, we're still members and we're still approachable and we still want to reach out and help one another. I want to be able to lead by example. So I could attend any club meeting and just attend a club meeting, but taking on the role of a speaker and getting an evaluation from a club that you're not comfortable with, that you're not familiar with, is quite different. But being able to lead by example for those situations, and that's what I hope that our members will feel when this term is over, that our leaders are approachable, that leaders are just a title, right? A title goes away. We're the people that we are. We have to rely on our name and our reputation. So titles go away. But I also want our members to realize that being a leader is not about being the center of attention. Being a leader is about being the epicenter of action. So you don't have to have a spotlight on you to make change and to have the ability for action within our group and our organization.
Very powerful. Well, we are getting a lot of questions here. The next one is, what is your definition of success?
That's a question I've been asked quite a bit in the past. And I look at success as being an external factor for myself. Success is me being able to help others reach beyond the barriers that they've set for themselves to achieve more than they believe they can. You've all seen it. Someone comes into your club. They don't think they can become a great speaker. I could never do that. That's generally the first thing they say, right? They come in as a guest and I could never speak like you do. It's not my skill. So they put that barrier in front of them, self-imposed. And if I can help one person overcome the barrier that they've put in front of themselves, then that's success, because I'm doing what I believe is the most important thing in helping others. And it comes back that way.
Thank you. I'll proceed with the two last questions. There is one that says, what are your plans to keep the millennium still engaged with Toastmasters? So not bored easily with Toastmasters.
Yeah, so we're continuing to develop our Pathways program. I think that's one of the things that the millennials will hopefully consistently be engaged in. Trying to define and understand truly what millennials are looking for. I think we need to engage more of them in our thinking, our thought process, to figure out what it is exactly they want, whether it's project-based or commitment-based type situations. You can't develop things for people's needs unless you know what their needs are. So I think for us to do that and keep them engaged will be this online program that, as we see it to be right now, the constant evolution of Pathways, and getting them involved to see what it is that they really do need.
All right, the last one is, what is the best advice you have received after delivering a speech?
I used to give my speeches straightforward, no emotion, no humor, no anything on them, right? Just here it is. But getting that advice to be more authentic, be myself. Don't be so rigid that people can't relate to you. And I think that's something that we all work on, telling that story that engages people, telling those things that we normally wouldn't tell. I used to never tell the story about my having stage 4 cancer back in 2009, but realizing that there were people who could relate to that and needed to hear the positive side of it and overcoming it. That's what I've gotten the advice on. Just be myself. Don't try to be someone else. And don't try to be something for everyone.
Thank you, Richard, for sharing with us. I think we needed like 20 minutes or more to really have this conversation with you. I really thank all the guests that send us questions, and I will ask maybe if we can forward these questions to you and we can receive a feedback after, so we can share with everyone the output or the answers for those questions.
So, Madam Facilitator, I will put my email address, my direct email address, in the chat window for anyone who wants to contact me. And they can also reach me through LinkedIn.
Yes, thank you. Thank you once again. And back to you, Napula. Thank you.
Thank you very much for such a remarkable session and such a remarkable feedback on how to the best advice the president got on delivering a speech. Now, let's rumble the things a little bit with a little bit of general knowledge about Mozambique. And to run the next sessions, we have the one that is part-time a programmer and then at the time a tailor, the one who made this amazing shirt I'm wearing. He's a member of Maputo Toastmasters for a year now, and he came back to Mozambique after being abroad for such a long time. And he said, I quote himself, he found in Toastmasters not only a place of growth, but family. Let me welcome to the stage Mr. Valdemar Walters to run the cultural moment section. Valdemar Walters, stage is yours.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing? I'm doing very well. Valdemar Walters here. I'd like to start off with this cultural moment with a beautiful song from Wazimbu. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I see from all the smiling faces and the reaction that touched a lot of Mozambicans right there. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to go through a couple of cultural moments here in Mozambique. We'll start off with, we have our president here. Welcome, Mr. President. It is an honor to have you here. And in celebration of having you here with us, I'd like to share a screen very quickly so that we can take a look at, here we go. Can you see my screen? Mr. President, as the president of Toastmasters International, you help us by setting an example. You already spoke about wanting to set a great example for us as Toastmasters. And in light of that, I'd like to share the individuals who set an amazing, phenomenal example for us as Mozambicans. The individual that you can see on the screen right now, his name is Ngunghunyane. Mr. President, do you think that you could, I'd like to just challenge you a little bit in trying to pronounce that. Would you like to take on that challenge?
Sure. Would you like to say it one more time so I can hear it, please?
Yes, it is Ngunghunyane.
Ngunghunyane?
That is perfect. You are almost there.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Now, Mr. President, and our distinguished guests, Ngunghunyane, for all of you who don't know, was actually our last crowned king in Mozambique. So he's not the only one that shaped our nation. He defended the Mozambican coast from occupation with just before the colonial era. Let's move on to our next. Oh, that's another image of the great Ngunghunyane. Look at that pose. Eduardo Mondlane, another man who really helped shape Mozambique as we know it. He was the first president of the Frelimo party, and he basically shaped the ideology for the current party that is in power right now. It's another picture of Mr. Eduardo Mondlane. And then our first president of our independent state, Mr. Samora Machel. Great orator. I believe that if he was still alive, he was going to be one of the Toastmasters here in Maputo Toastmasters. With that said, I'd like to thank our great leaders for setting the example for us. And in order to do that, I'd like to share a thank you in one of our Mozambican native languages. I'll be sharing 3 with you throughout this presentation. And the first one is Kanimambo. Kanimambo, Kanimambo to our great leaders who set a phenomenal example for us. Moving on to the next section of our cultural moment here in Mozambique. I'm so excited for this one because this is in Toastmasters, we grow from our feedback because it is the breakfast of the champions. So let us talk a little bit about the champions that we have here in Mozambique. And the first champion that we have, ladies and gentlemen, do you happen to know who this beautiful lady is? Anybody? Lourdes Matala. Lourdes Matala. Lourdes Matala. And Lourdes Matala. Why is Lourdes Matala so important? She is so important because she is one of the 4 individuals in the world to have participated and completed her participation within the Olympics 6 times. With the record also breaking, not breaking, but she won the gold medal in the 200 meter, 800 meter women's tracking in 2000, in the year 2000, the turn of the century. She decided that that's her time to make her mark on the world, and that's what she did. Let's move on to our next champion, which is Mr. Malanga Tana. Why is this man a champion? Because his art broke boundaries within not only the Mozambican community, but abroad. I consider this, and we consider him really as a champion because while he was still alive, his art wasn't really given much attention. But towards the last years of his life, we began to see, the world also began to see the politics and the message that he was sending through his art. And just like that, he became one of our icons. I'd like to use this opportunity to thank our champions with one of the languages from the center of Mozambique. Kanimambo Shangani, that's the first one that we made use of. That is from the south of Mozambique. Now, from the center of Mozambique, we have Tatenda. Now, Tatenda is from Shona. It's from the Shona language. Moving on to last but not least, culture in Mozambique. For any Mozambican that you will meet, they will always tell you how incredibly hot it is here. That's why we pride our beaches. We have phenomenal beaches here. Okay, let me not toot my own horn and let's just see what type of beaches we have here. Take a look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Does that not just melt your heart and make you just want to go and just jump into your swimming costume and swim, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wemby Beach in Pemba, Cabo Delgado. This Cabo Delgado is a province in the north of Mozambique. It shares a border with Tanzania. So this is one of our most beautiful beaches in Mozambique. Please just take a look at that. Wow. Mr. President, whenever you have the opportunity to come and visit, we hope that we can be able to give you a tour on Mozambique. So you can take a look at these beautiful beaches on here and be able to actually take your own coconut. We have amazing coconut trees here. You can just go and just grab one of them and enjoy the sweet juice from our coconuts here. And to thank our country for being so beautiful, I would like to make use of the language from the north of Mozambique, which is Makua, to say thank you. It is Koshukuru. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to our next year, and we don't know what to expect from the year to come. But what we can do is embrace the culture that we have, and always be grateful for what we have and who we are. So once again, Kanimambo, Tatenda, and Koshukuru. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Amazing, Valdemar. Amazing, amazing sightseeing, amazing history of Maputo and Mozambique with the leaders that you brought in and also our champions to give us a bang. Thank you, Valdemar, for such a cultural moment that you delivered to us. And now, let's go to the part that gets the bells rumbling at a Toastmasters meeting. The part that gets the hands shaking, that gets everyone cornering into their chairs and trying to disappear. That's the table topic session. And to run the table topics, explain and run the table topic sessions, we have not but less but Shana Maunzi. She is the current BPPR of Mozambique. She won not only the Bright Star Award, but the Silent Killer Award because she would go missing from a lot of meetings, but every time she would come back, she would hit us with a bang. That's why she earned the Silent Killer Award at Maputo Toastmasters. Today, she's going to be run the table topics sessions. And to explain to our guests and members what is the table topic sessions, please help me welcome with a huge virtual round of applause, Shana Maunz to the stage.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and distinguished Toastmaster, Richard Peck. My name is Shauna, and I will be guiding you through the table topic session of tonight. Now, the table topic session is one of our most interesting portions of the meeting because it gives the chance to guests and members without a role to think on their feet and practice their public speaking skills. And tonight, I dare you to use the word of the day and to pin the timer while delivering your speech. Each participant of the table topic session has a time frame of 1 to 2 minutes to deliver their speech. I will be asking a few questions and you will be responding to me. So you must speak for a minimum of 1 minute and a maximum of 2 minutes. That's why it's really important for you to pin the timer and stay on track of time. Now I can see a hand raised for a volunteer. I see Alessandro. Alessandro, hello. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, hello, Sharon. How are you?
Hi, Alessandro. I'm good. So Alessandro is one of our international Toastmasters friends here from Maputo Toastmaster. Alessandro is from Brasilia. I'm from Brasilia. So Alessandro, tonight our table topic session will be made out of one question. So I want you to explain online meetings to your grandchildren 30 years from now. You must use the words unmute, share screen, and connection issues while giving your explanation. Would you like me to explain it once again?
So explain to my grandchildren 30 years from now using these words.
Yes, you must include the words unmute, share screen, and connection issues. So a way you can do that is by telling a story. You're explaining it to your grandchildren 30 years from now. So you have 30 seconds to think, and you have a minimum of 1 minute and a maximum of 2 minutes to deliver your speech. You're encouraged to use the word of the day there and pay attention to the timer. Over to you, Alessandro.
Okay. So when I look to you, child, I always try to say to your mother how to keep these kids on mute. This seems to be a little funny, but I don't understand. How can I share my screen with you, my son? Look to your daddy. Oh my God, we cannot leave in this room. This seems to be nonsense for you now. But looking back in the past, we had the year 2020, when many people thought that we could raise great leaders and different people that could make a difference in the world. But actually, everybody stayed at their home. We couldn't even move further, as I'm doing right now in the streets of my city, trying to find out what to do. Kids, they're not a kid anymore. But during that day, what we need to do was connect, as I'm doing right now in the best with my fellow friends in the international president of Toastmasters International. even look at your eyes. Because if I look now, you don't look inside my eyes. Doing virtual meetings is strange, but was necessary. But I need to go now. Just turn off this hologram 3D and moving on. See you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alessandro. Really interesting way of explaining what online meetings are to your grandchildren 30 years from now. I hope we'll live enough to see that happen. So I see a second volunteer here, Mr. Navish. Navish, can you turn on your camera and unmute yourself? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Navish.
Hello.
So, hi. So your question
Hi.
is, you must explain the word chunar to a foreigner. I know you're Mozambican, so I want you to use the words new shoes, chic, and fashionable. We have several people here in our meeting tonight who aren't Mozambican, so I want you to use your creativity and define the word chunar to a foreigner. We have a time frame of 1 to 2 minutes to answer this question, and you should pin the timer to pay attention to your time frame. You're encouraged to use the word of the day to dare. Over to you, Navish.
Shana, may you come back again? You say that I can't use chic. I can't use this word.
You must. You should use
okay,
those words.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, dear friends. So here we are. This night we're going to an amazing wedding. And in this wedding, you must look very chic as you have ever never looked before. Because there you will meet that woman which you are talking about, that you met at the airport of Cape Town. So you have to look very, very, very chic. And I believe like this, you will be very, so you will have one chance to reach your main goal with that late. So do your best, go and do your hair, watch, put your best shoes. I promise you that looking like that, you will kill in this party. Back to you, Shana.
Thank you very much, Navish. Really appreciate it. If you're a foreigner, chunad is one of our day-to-day slangy words that we use here in Mozambique, referring to looking good and wearing your best outfits wherever you go. So I would say I am chunada tonight because we have a special meeting in Maputo Toastmasters. Now I have a couple other volunteers here. I see Shalcia Generoso. Hi, Shalcia. Can you turn on your camera and unmute yourself?
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you and I can see you clearly, Shalcia. So Shalcia, just like other participants, I want you to explain the word chapa to a foreigner. You must use the words travel, road safety, and passenger while explaining what chapa is. So you have a time frame of 1 minute and a maximum of 2 minutes to explain what the word chapa means to a foreigner. You have 30 seconds to think. Over to you, Shalcia.
Okay, so I do believe we have foreigners here. So the word chapa means a bus. I mean, not as huge as the other buses we see abroad, but means of transport here in Mozambique. So we use it to travel in case you want to have huge distance travels or small distance travels. Even though here within the city of Maputo, you can walk, but normal people, common people who don't have their own transport, they use chapa, okay? Road safety is not one of the best, but I can say it's the best we get here in Mozambique. The passengers are not that much. They have, I think, minimum of, I don't really know the maximum passengers in a shopper, but I believe 20 maximum, 20 people in a shopper. Back to you. I hope I have described the word properly.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. So in table topic session, there are no rules. This is your chance to practice public speaking, and we really appreciate your definition of Shapa. I hope all foreigners who eventually end up coming to Mozambique have the chance to ride a Shapa. So thank you very much, Chelsea. Now I'm going to move on and call another volunteer. I see Paris Kirchan. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Can you unmute yourself and turn your camera on? Hello, Paris.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Uganda, but I stay in Mozambique at the moment.
Great. Really nice. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now,
You're welcome.
Paris, I have one question for you. I would
Okay.
like you to explain the year 2020 to yourself in 2019. So if the Paris of today could travel back to 2019 and explain what the year 2020 is to your own self last year, what would you say? But you cannot use the words pandemic. You cannot use the word social distancing. You can't use the word virus, and you cannot use the word Zoom. You have 30 seconds to think and a minimum of 1 minute and a maximum of 2 minutes to give your answer. Over to you, Paris.
What started off as a potential turned out to be a disaster. So, as usual, as the year started, we started making our New Year's resolution to ourselves and what we're gonna do throughout the whole year. So, as things moved on, everything's changed. In a matter of seconds, the world flipped upside down. So, people had to change their lifestyles. Everything we knew at the moment changed, and the world suddenly was not the same thing. And we had to
Sorry, Paris, I think we're having some sort of an issue hearing you. Can you put your mic closer to your mouth?
Okay. All of a sudden, the world changed in a matter of seconds. Completely different. And all of a sudden, we had to live the lives that we all New Year's resolutions that we made at the beginning of the year. All of a sudden, we had to change our plans. But we had to pull through, and we made it, and we survived.
We made it and we survived. Exactly. That's the spirit. Thank you very much, Paris, for this wonderful explanation of 2020 to your own self. I'm going to ask the timer if we still have time for one more table topics participant. Dungo, do we still have time, or is this the end of our table topic session?
This is the end of the table topic session. Thank you. Thank you.
This is the end of our table topic session, unfortunately, but this is the last meeting of the year and our last table topic session of the year, folks. I want you all to practice public speaking, to think on your feet, and dare to speak whenever you have the chance. I'll be here next year, same time, at Maputo Toastmasters Club. Back to you, Mr. Toastmasters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shan. I would like to invite you all to give a huge round of applause for our table topic participants. We all know it's not easy to stand and deliver just on the spot,
Yes.
but it's amazing delivering their quick 1 to 2 minute speeches to the audience. And now, as I told you in the beginning, the Toastmasters meeting is guided by 3 sections. One, that people come prepared and deliver their speeches. The second, that we have this moment of speeches delivered right on spot. And the last, which is the education part, the feedback, the breakfast of champions. This is where you take your notes and you learn how to become a better speaker. And to run this session, who but not the logistics manager from Vodacom, Cristo Rutuliana, who is also the president of Vodacom Maputo Toastmasters. I would like to invite Toastmasters Cristo to run the feedback section. Cristo, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, for passing on the word to me. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests, and International President Richard Peck. My role as the general evaluator is to take note of everything that takes place throughout the meeting, and additionally, I have a team of evaluators that work alongside myself. While the meeting is taking place, we sit at the back and take note of every point, and at the end of the meeting, in exactly this session, we share our report with you. To start the evaluation section, I'll first of all call forth to the stage the table topics evaluator, Aldemiro Balai, to the stage to share his report. Aldemiro Balai, the stage is yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests. And Mr. President, good evening. I hope you are having a good day all. My role as a table topic evaluator is to evaluate all the speakers that perform in the table topic and give them some advices and give recommendations in terms of how they perform. First, I'll start with Alessandro Dias. Alessandro's first of all, congratulate for participate in the table topic session. I noticed 3 elements which I want to praise you for pushing. The first one is your smile demonstrates confidence that when you're smiling, you are doing a table topic and you're smiling, it shows confidence that you're enjoying, and Toastmasters is about enjoyment. And the high contact is tricky because we are doing online, but you're looking at the phone, and your eye contact was good. And your enthusiasm, as I said previously, your enthusiasm, the way you are talking, shows that you are enjoying what you're doing. What I would like to recommend you was first hard to listen what you're saying, probably because you are talking on the phone, so it was really hard to listen you. And I wouldn't be able to listen the last part of your speech. And moving for the second table topic speaker, which was Mr. Nevinyanala. I want to congratulate you too for performing the role. And what I want to praise you is your vocal variety. I would listen different voice of tones while you are speaking. I listened in the clear ending, and I saw that you try to use gests, and it's tricky because when we are talking in the camera, we barely use gests, but you're using gests. What I would recommend you in terms of points of improvement is usage of appropriate words as your speech was to translate a specific term for foreigners. So usage of appropriate words to translate this word, and humor was really important to use humor for this for your speech. And the third speaker, which is Madame Sheila Generoso, I want to praise you for delivering your speech. I like it the way you opened your speech. You went to the point and you said sharp is this, and you went to the point and then you started explaining the whole concept. I liked it. It had a good structure. In terms of structure, it was well structured. It was a mini speech, and your volume was really good to digest your voice, the way you were speaking. I liked it too. And in terms of points of improvement, the closing, you need to improve. I understand that it's difficult to speak in public, and you jump it, and we were like, whoa, what happened? And I think it's important for you to close as you started, to close well. And you were talking about sharp. Probably you're talking about humor. The events that you suffered in the sharp will be good to highlight in your speech. And the last but not least, Mr. Sorry if I'm not reading well. Paris Karen. If I'm not reading well, probably I'm reading in Spanish. And I like the way you use it. The words, which word you use it, you use the appropriate words to demonstrate emotions. And the second point, you use it emotive words, and you are enthusiastic in the end. I liked it because you are talking about different aspects that you observe in your ear, and you show that there's a variance in your year, and you demonstrated it. 2 points which I want to raise in terms of points of improvement is high contact. I understand that public speaking is not easy and table topic is not easy, but when you speak in public, try to look at the people, and it's tricky because you are speaking online, and just look for your camera. No, you see no one, you only see yourself. So look at yourself and say, I'm handsome, and just keep looking at yourself. And facial expressions, just showing emotion. What you say must be reflected in your eyes, in your face. So it's important to just reflect this. Above all, you performed well your table topic, and I want to congratulate you for performing this role. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aldemir Baloy, for very rich and insightful evaluation of the table topic session. Now I'll move on to my next evaluator to share her report. I would like to first of all call to the stage the first evaluator, Elio Macarala, to come and share his report. Elio, the stage is yours. Elio Macarala.
Thank you, General Evaluator Cristo Tosiana. We will get through this. Richard Peck, thank you for such an inspiring speech. Your goal was to inspire us, and let me say, I am inspired. I really like the way you aligned, we will get through this, with the whole content of your speech. And let me start by saying what I heard. I heard a leader really bringing us this confidence, very affirming words throughout these difficult times, and they were really assuring to me. And that really left me inspired. I felt really inspired and empowered to continue on this process, striving through this time. And I also understood that this period this pandemic created this opportunity of bringing us together and really making us more connected family and more closer, and really rely and lean on each other. So I think regarding on how your speech was, I was inspired, and I was really the way you really structured the speech, the pace, the pauses were really reaffirming, and they would give us space to really think and go through what you were explaining to us. So your speech was amazing. What maybe I felt could have really engaged us more was the energy. Maybe you've been doing a tour, and I imagine you've been delivering speeches all over the world, and maybe a couple of speeches each day, but I felt the energy wasn't that high, and at some point that would really distract me a bit from the speech. Other than that, I was inspired, and I'm really grateful you were able to join us and give us these reaffirming and assuring words. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Elio Makarala, for the insightful reports. I know it was a tough job evaluating our president, but you did a fantastic job. Now, moving on to the next evaluator, I would like to call to the stage Agnalio Nampunda. I hope I pronounced it properly. Agnalio, the stage is yours.
Fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, the most impressive uh, of the day's speech today were efficient and constructed, well connected, and above all, very introspective and thoughtful delivered speech, to which I wanna congratulate you. I've noticed your key message is perfectly in line with the rest of your content. So you were able to connect. You started by giving us what is the success in terms of a definition of its end. And also you brought the joy piece definition. So you apparently you have two layers, and at the last, you definitely connected it and showed us that what is prevail. So the joy come first from the success. So your joy is very internal piece. What I noticed as well, Daisy, you drove the audience into a place where into a place of introspective mode, telling how your own experience, inquiring for a well-founded happiness to be, which happens to be an internal joy. Where I would challenge you, Daisy, is to engage more or invite the audience to embark on this introspective journey by casting those questions direct to the audience souls. And for you brought an assessment or a statement of embracing vulnerabilities is the best or the key ingredient to reach higher. So that I thought would be a kind of a self-discovering from the audience itself. Congratulations, was very amused and was a fantastic speech delivered today. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agnalo. You really showed us that you paid attention to your speaker's speech. You are very insightful and detailed on your report. Now, to conclude this section of evaluators for the prepared speakers, I will now like to call on my last evaluator, Beatrice Mabena, to share her report. Beatrice, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. Good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and of course, Domingos Novella. What an excellently delivered speech. Congratulations. When you started your speech, you said, do you think you have what it takes to achieve success in this life? And when Domingos said that, I wonder how many of us didn't pick up to listen. I would like to believe that most of us did, because let's face it, who doesn't want to succeed, right? And that is the first thing I loved about Domingo's speech, because you picked a topic that resonates with almost anybody. And this is really important, especially in a meeting like this one, where we have so much diversity. So that topic was relevant and absolutely touched everybody. The second thing I loved about your speech was the scene setting and the imagery at the beginning when you were talking about going out and meeting this beautiful woman and bringing her back home. And at some point, it was so vivid that I wondered where you were going with this story and whether we perhaps needed some censorship. But then you quickly moved on to the core of your message, which was about success and about taking a moment to appreciate the things that we take for granted, such as breathing. I also loved your eye contact. I felt that you were on point, and given that you're talking to about 70 of us in our own living rooms, I felt like you were talking directly to me, so that was great. Your gestures complemented the message, especially the part when you were talking about carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you illustrated that. That was really, really good. In the end, you also brought a personal story. You talked about your experience with struggling to breathe and how that made you sit up and start to really think about what matters. And I felt that that was a relevant message. And personally, it made me sit up myself and start to think about this year and really appreciate the things that we take for granted. Now, every speech, no matter how great, has got room for improvement, and I've got two for you. Number one is in the beginning, when you gave the quote, it was so powerful. However, I felt that you moved along very quickly. You could have put in a longer pause to allow the audience to think, and I thought that would have been more impactful. The second point of improvement is around the storytelling itself. When you talked about the woman in the beginning, whilst it was humorous, I did not feel that it gelled or progressed the message in your story. And so I would suggest that you perhaps work on stronger transitions and stronger connection in your story. Otherwise, all in all, what a great speech. It resonated with me. It was a catchy opening. You had fantastic gestures, fantastic eye contact, your pitch, your speed was great. And in terms of improvements, just consider longer pauses for more impact and stronger transitions in your storytelling. Well done. I look forward to hearing your next speech. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Beatrice. Domingos, I hope you wrote down all the points Beatrice raised because they're very insightful and will help you in the next speeches. Now, I'm done with the section of evaluation of the prepared speeches. I'm moving on to my second team of evaluators who are working behind the scenes to see how the meeting was progressing. To start, I would like to call to the stage our grammarian to let us know how was the use of English throughout the session. The grammarian, Manuel Jofris, the stage is yours. Please share with us your report.
Wow, wow, wow. Awesome, amazing, impressive. I do not know what to say, but it was impressive. An honor to get to know you, Richard Peck, and all of you guys. It was enjoyable. Unfortunately, most of you did not use the word of the day, which is there. Though you've dared to deliver your speech, I expect that you could use it. Taking into consideration the uses of the language, I've taken some notes. One of them is, instead of saying listen who, I would suggest to say listen to. In terms of pronunciation, instead of saying also, as if there is an H, it should be, or it would be also. I heard also a speaker say,
Hello, Manuel, are you still with us? Well, seems that Manuel is facing some technical issues. Mr. Zoom Master, please engage with him on the behind the scenes just to find out what's the problem while I move on to the next evaluator if possible. Now, I'll move on to the next evaluator of this session. The R counter just to let us know if we use the crash words during the session. To that, I would like to call to the stage Mr. Antonio Santos to share with us his report. Antonio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. As prompted, was listening to the usage of crosswords and pause fillers. And today we had the most crosswords and pause filler used by this evening was up. We had Elio Macarala using 5 times, Agnalo 5 times, Baloi 9 times, Valdemar 2 times, Shana Maunze 3. On the table topic speakers, we had Neves using 4 times, Shelter 3 times. At the total, we had 31 times people using up. The second most used word was so. We had Eli Macarala using 1 time, Valdemar 2 times, Shana Maunze 2 times, Chelsea, the tabletop speaker, 3 times, and Paris 2 times. You also had as one of the most used words. People used 9 times. We had the table topics evaluator using 2 times, Neves 4 times, and Chelsea 3. In terms of repetitions, we did have a lot of repetitions this evening. We had the timer repeating this. Beatriz Mobena, the third evaluator, using and, to. We also had Baloy repeating 2, 4, was, you. And that's my report. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. R Counter. I hope you all took notes on how you performed regarding the crash words during the session. Now, the final evaluator I'll call to the stage is the man who controls the time, the man who plays with the cards while we are taking our roles. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Dungu Novunga to the stage. Dungu, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Christo. And this is my report. Richard Peck, 7 minutes, 26 seconds. Daisy Maísa, 7 minutes, 3 seconds. Domingos Novella, 6 minutes and 36 seconds. Q&A section was about to have 6 minutes only, but it took 10 minutes and 27 seconds. The culture moment took 6 minutes and 23 seconds. Table topics. Alessandro Diaz, 1 minute, 35 seconds. Neves, 1 minute, 35 seconds. Chelsea Generoso, 1 minute, 33 seconds. Perez, 1 minute, 39 seconds. Oldemiro Baloy, 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Evaluators. Elio Macarala, 1 minute, 56 seconds. Agnalo, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Beatriz, 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Report. Manuel Jofris, 1 minute 30 seconds. Antonio dos Santos, 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Dungu Nuvunga, 1 minute and 20 seconds. Thank you. Back to you, Christo, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. Very detailed report. I hope you managed to see how you performed in terms of time through his report. Now it comes to the section whereby I'll be sharing my report throughout the session. Besides my team of evaluators, I was also taking notes of some aspects I noticed during today's session. Now, to start, I'll first of all like to commend the Toastmaster of the day and his organization crew because the session ran smoothly and without any hassles. A big round of applause for him on that. Now, to start, I'll firstly comment on the time management. Most of the key role players managed to join the session 30 minutes before the session started, the main event started, and through that, we were able to align and organize the session before the main event. The sergeant at arms was very good at her job and she made sure that we started at exactly 6 p.m. with no fail. Kudos to her for that. On the transitions during the meeting, I did love the fact that the Toastmaster of the day managed to make the transitions not dull and always place some comments and facts just to make sure the transitions were memorable and interesting for us to listen. Now, moving on, have on the theme alignment and dress code. As you'll see, most of the participants, the key role players, came dressed for the event, Kapulana printed clothes, and that aligns pretty much well with the theme and of today's event. Additionally, I did love the fact that the Toastmaster of the day was always leaving some key comments regarding Mozambique as a country so that the guests could understand and get to know Mozambique even though they're not here physically. The music was also on point, and I'm pretty sure everyone was dancing on their chairs because I was. I do like to commend as well the cultural moments managed by Valdemar Walters, whereby he showed some examples of great Mozambican leaderships. I I do believe the moment will have been more impactful if the images were organized on a PowerPoint with the names of the leaders already next to their pictures, just to guide the guests who don't know who those people are. But other than that, it was a fantastic moment whereby we got to learn a lot of interesting facts about the leaders. Now, moving on to the performance of my evaluation team. Well, all my evaluators managed to correctly introduce their speakers. They managed to explain the pathways, the speech title, the project level, and how much time each one of the speakers had before they came upstage. That's one of the aspects most tend to forget, but I do like to commend them for their performance on that aspect. Other than that, I would like to go on to the table topic evaluator, who, despite having not so much time, he managed to give a sandwich kind of evaluation to all the table topic participants, giving them personalized evaluations so that they got to know exactly how they performed during that session. I do believe he would have performed even much better if he had more minutes to perform his roles because he was doing the job of all the evaluators on he was evaluating all the four speakers in 3 minutes, which is can be some kind of hard sometimes. But other than that, he did a fantastic job with the time he had. I do like to also point out that although Agnaldo presented a fantastic evaluation of Daisy Manisa, I don't recall her mentioning if she managed to achieve her project objective. Remember, at the end of the day, when speakers present their speeches, it's not all about mentioning how the speech content was, but it's also crucial to let them know if they achieved the objective or their particular project. Other than that, he did a fantastic job. Last note, I'll go on to the meet agenda adjustments. Throughout the session, I managed to see that some agenda items were switched up, probably due to some hiccups that are happening backstage. The first one was that the Toastmaster called up the first speaker and evaluator prior to calling the role players to present themselves. The other moment I noticed a change was the cultural moment, which came before the table topic session. It Although the changes occurred, it didn't feel as if they affected much of the agenda because nothing seemed to have shifted. The whole flow, the whole momentum was still there, and we didn't even feel the change. It was just some minor things that I noticed that happens throughout the sessions, but I did love the way the Toastmaster of the day handled it like a boss. I can say it like that. Other than that, I believe that the overall meeting was a success. I could say it was a 5-star meeting, and everyone should be proud of all the work they did to make this happen. Thank you very much, and that concludes my report. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Napoli Alberto.
Kanimambo, Tatenza, Kuoshukuru. And those three words mean thank you in different language. And I say thank you because we're coming out to the end of our meeting. And thank you was the theme that I chose today. Why did I choose this theme again? Because it took me back to my journey at Toastmasters. While I joined thinking that I know it all, I could deliver speeches like a pro, and I could stand on the stage like a champion until I got my first evaluation. Yes, I was a bit knocked out on stage, and I felt that there was a lot more to learn. But there is well my peers at Maputo Toastmasters told me. Toastmasters is not a place where you find professionals who know everything to teach you. No, there's the place where you join people that are really learning what they're doing and share their knowledge together. It's a place where you grow together, step by step, into the face of a goal. So I would like to say thank you for all the experience that Maputo Toastmasters and Toastmasters International has brought to me because it has helped me believe to live throughout 2020 because it was just like another table topics in which we were given a scenario, we didn't know what to do, and we had to speak on our feet. I say Kanimambo, Tatenda, and thank you for everyone who has joined this meeting and for everyone who is a part of this big and the leadership of this organization. With this, I leave my last words and I'd like to pass on the meeting to the president of the best club in, wait for it, Mars. Madam President Nadia Tanan, to handle the club business, the stage is yours.
Animambo. Thank you once again. I am speechless today. It was a great meeting, and I would like to take this opportunity to really thank our special guests, the international president of Toastmasters, Mr. Richard Peck. Also, I can see here in the meeting our District 74 Director, Mary Jabba, for coming and supporting, our Division I Director, Gavin, and also our area director, Elio Macarala, to really taking a role and helping us through this journey. I hope you all enjoyed. Can I please ask you to turn on your cameras so we can take a moment as well to take some pictures and also record this moment for life. The theme of today's meeting was thank you, Koshuro, and I think it says it all. We really did a fantastic job throughout the year. This is our last meeting of 2020, and I think we can all be proud of. I would like to also thank you, everyone that was on the background, making sure that this meeting was a boom as it was. And I really hope that in 2021, we keep the same energy and we really do even more. This is me. Thank you, Nevis. This is me, Nady Tenane, the president of the club. I would like to invite you all to rejoin us next year on the 20th of January, when we will have our first kickoff meeting of the year for a fantastic journey again. I would also like to invite everyone to leave on the chat box, how did you find this meeting? Please give us your feedback. The chat is now enabled for everyone. So if you have any love message to us, please, this is the moment. And Zoom Master, do we have all cameras on and are we able to take some shots, some family pictures?
don't have all the vote. We don't have everybody. However, we have enough.
All right, I think people are getting ready. I would like to also take this moment to ask Richard if you have any last words to tell us before we close the meeting.
Sure. Very, very well done. Nice to see District Director Merrill here again. She's been traveling around as I've been visiting the countries of District 74. As I stated in my opening remarks, learning about the cultures of our members, of the various countries, 145 that we belong in, helps strengthen our organization and helps unite us by being able to understand each other a little bit more. The tour of Mozambique today, very similar to District Director's tour of Namibia the other day, Donkey, was very well done. Loved the music. You know, something we don't normally get a chance to experience. Right? The more you share with others, the more you come together. And in these trying times, that is the most important thing we can do. Come together, share who we are, share our excitement, and keep encouraging others to achieve more than they think they can. I loved learning about the leaders of Mozambique. I apologize for butchering the words when trying to pronounce them, but it's nice to be able to try. And thank you for at least giving me that opportunity. When you have your meetings and you put that little bit of culture aspect into it, man, what a difference it makes. What a difference it makes, and what an impact it has on others. I wish you much success in 2021. I look forward to the day when we'll be able to get together and be in the same location, to experience a little bit of each other's excitement, a little bit of each other's encouragement, and a little bit of the dancing. And I can't dance, but I might try. Madam President.
Thank you once again. And it was a fantastic, but everything that is good, unfortunately, comes to an end. And I would like to take this opportunity to wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I'm sure that the 2021 will be a fantastic year. And with that, I would like to call our Sergeant at Arms, Emildina Simba, to officially close this meeting. Thank you. Kani Mambo.
Great meeting today, wasn't it? Great meeting today, wasn't it? I hope you all enjoyed. And since it's an educational meeting, I hope you also learned.
Did
Something
you
to
lose Emildina? Okay.
You joined today. That's most of the willpower and giving more of yourself. And now I'll declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you, and we can stay a few minutes for chat and music.
Thank you.
Leave that one, Valdemar, leave that one, please. Amazing, guys. Nice to see you. Merry
It was
Christmas,
nice to see
Happy
you.
New Year
It
to
was nice
everybody.
to visit you guys. You are improving day by day. I just enjoyed the section. It's
Fantastic.
a long time that I don't see Domingos. Oh, that was nice
Thank
speech,
you
and
so much for having us.
Daisy also, it
And
was
for
a nice
Daisy.
speech.
I
Thank
met
you
with
so much,
Daisy. I
guys.
love it.
Keep on going. See you next time.
Wow, everybody's looking so good tonight. That's the director, you put some moves right there. Madam Daisy, phenomenal speech. Looking great in the crowd. Beatrice. My God, we should have a fashion show right there.
That was great.
Demetrio, what's happening?
Wonderful. It was a very, very nice section. I really enjoyed it.
Right on the chat box.
Someone mute Demetrio, please. Hey, please. Eyeball, hey.
Nice to see you guys again.
Okay, please come back. A lot of noise.
Music, please. Music.
I just want to say you guys did an amazing job. It was a fantastic meeting. Well done to everybody. To everybody who was on the team. It was an amazing, amazing meeting. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm just proud of you guys. You made a wonderful job. I miss you guys. Next year we are together.
Yes, yes we are. 2021 we are back.
Well done, guys. You were amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, Charlie, yeah.